It has been way too long since I've been on my bike. This entire week it has been just freaking pouring down rain. The new semester started at school, and it's kicking my ass already. So that's fun news, huh? But like I said, it's been rain a lot, so I haven't gotten to get on my bike and do some moto vlogging like I love to do. Anything more than like 2 days of not riding, if not one, it starts to get awful. I hate not riding for extended periods of time, because it does suck. It just sucks. One thing I'd like to be able to do with y'all is to be able to talk to y'all about things that are going on, current events, kind of in America, in the world, and right now that the topic of discussion is definitely gun control and gun rights, and all the shootings that have been happening, which are actually not strange because they happen every single day. It's just that now we're getting a whole mouthful of the crap because news agencies want to point out every single tiny event that occurs. First of all, no, gun violence is not on the rise. It's actually, if you look at some of the reports, it's actually on the decline slightly. But it seems to the general public that gun violence is getting really, really, really bad. And that is because of the media. Broadcast and cable news companies constantly showing us terrible things that are happening in the world. And none of them seem to point out the truth in the matter. Okay. Well, first of all, news agencies are going to show you what they want you to think is actually going on. So, do some research, look at the stats. Just, it all labels itself. Yes, there is a problem in this country of people getting shot. And it's been going on for a very long time. But take this for example. That's a red light, you idiot. Take this for example. These young children have been murdered in a school numerous times in history, and yes, it's very saddening, and I hate that it happens. We don't realize that our own country is sending 18 and 19-year-olds into war to be killed by terrorists. So, does that make sense? No. Okay, so our country can go send us to be shot, but when it comes to people in this country shooting one another, it's a whole big deal because they're not the ones controlling it. Okay, well, yeah, okay, well, there's nothing we can do about that. There has to be wars. Alright, well, there's also violence. And the government seems to think the best way to stop violence is to take away guns. And I'm not saying the entire government, being from the South, especially from Texas, and still living in the South my entire life, I'm very much against that. You can look at studies from cities, large cities that have implemented gun bans, and violence dramatically increases. Gun violence specifically dramatically increases during those periods. And what happens when you give the guns back to the people? Oh, gun violence decreases. Oh, is that right? Because now good people have guns in their hands. The problem is here, guys, if you take and just say the government implements a full gun ban, which is not going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's definitely far-fetched. If the United States government implements a gun ban, that means that all the law-abiding citizens in this country will go and turn in their guns if they have them, and will have no guns. Right, alright, so we'd like to think, in a perfect society, that all the unlawful citizens would also say, oh man, that's illegal now, we can't have guns. Really? You think that's gonna happen? No. Shut the fuck up about that shit. No. If there's a gun ban in this country, the only people who have guns are unlawful citizens, if they're even citizens at all. That means, just like marijuana and cocaine and heroin and meth, there is now going to be an underground trade. Oh, how fantastic is that? And no, underground trades don't give guns to good people. All they do is give guns back to bad people. So now you just got underground gangs trading guns with nobody knowing. We have no idea what kind of crazy lunatics out there have guns, and then they can murder people. On top of that, then there's going to be gangs. Like, you know, in Mexico, you know, the drug cartels? You're going to have gun cartels now, guys. Alright? Then they're going to be fighting with each other, killing innocent lives in the process. And really, are we going to call the cops and say, oh, these gangs are fighting? What are they going to do? Really? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen, except it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, because not a single good person has a gun in their hand except cops. It's just so frustrating sometimes when people think that getting rid of guns is actually going to solve the problem. Now look, here's another aspect of this problem. People were saying, oh my gosh, there is just some shit going on in this world, and okay, well, now we need to quickly identify all the people with mental disabilities, because clearly people with mental disabilities are murdering everybody. Alright, well, here's the first problem with that. Our society, the way it has been formed now, has been formed to accept every kind of person. And you don't judge people anymore. You can no longer look at somebody and go, that person is different, okay? Because it's so politically incorrect that people would judge you for doing that, okay? So, let's take, for example, the Aurora, Colorado shooting. News agencies went out and interviewed people all over the place that somehow knew this guy or lived by this guy or sat in a classroom with this guy. And they were like, oh yeah, he was always really creepy looking. He always looked angry. Okay, well if you have somebody sitting like that in a classroom with you, you really think a college student is going to be like, I'm going to go to the police because this guy looks angry? No, because people dress and act like that all the time just to get attention for themselves because they think they're being individuals. No, so no longer can we go, well this person looks angry and could actually do something. Because if you do, then it just brings up judgmental matters in society, and we're not accepting everyone. Oh, I'm sorry if that person has, weird-looking hair and wears hate symbols all the time, and oh no, they're just a normal person like you, just expressing themselves. No, the fuck they aren't, alright? There might be some of them out there doing that shit, but look where we get now, alright? While we're on the topic of guns, I think the biggest issue that people are having is with guns like AR-15s and stuff like that, assault-style type of guns. And, I can see where that comes from, to be completely honest. It's a little bit ridiculous that people have guns like that. Yes, it is, yeah. But let's look again. Those aren't even the most common types of guns used to kill people. It's pistols, and if I had my pistol taken away from me, I would be highly upset about that. But assault rifles, yes, they can be used for hunting, and I'm so tired of reading news articles of people going, you can't even use those for hunting or anything, all they are is to kill people. No, they're not. First of all, you can use them for hunting. Yes, it's a little bit of overkill, but hell, if you've got if you want to go shoot prairie dogs all day, hell, grab one of those things. That would make your life easier. Talk about your shoulder getting sore with other types of guns. Those things are fun. Those things are a ton of fun to shoot. And while the gun may not be cheap, the ammo is pretty cheap compared to, say, I don't know, 270 ammunition. You're paying $20 for a box of 15. Shit. At least, for cheap stuff. If they did institute a ban on assault weapons, then so be it. But that's just because I don't have one and I haven't invested thousands of dollars like a whole bunch of other people have. Something I do have a major problem with is banning high-capacity magazines. And the main reason for this is because who defines high capacity? What is high capacity? Where they're saying clips with over 12 rounds in them. Are you freaking kidding me? If 3 men go and rob a bank and you were the lone person in a bank with your concealed handgun license, do you really think 12 rounds of ammunition is gonna make you feel too confident? No, not at all. I mean, yeah, you may be a good shot, but you have 12 rounds against 3 guys that are armed. That doesn't even sound like an unreasonable circumstance you're in either, okay? The main reason people are saying to get rid of all these magazines that are high capacity, so to say, is because they think if you can have high capacity magazines in your guns, then you can shoot a lot more people with those guns without having to reload. Well, guess what? Even if you get rid of high capacity magazines, so to say, all that person has to do is have another magazine. You're not going to limit the amount of magazines somebody can have. So instead of carrying 2 magazines, carry 3. Okay, well, you didn't solve any problem here, guys. Alright? So stop all this crap.